And we're live. Oh, look, it all worked. Mora's on the screen a lot of times. But can they hear you? Say something.
Hello?
It all worked the first time.
Well, I guess we have to wait 5 seconds to see if they can hear me.
Oh, they can, because I can see that they would be able to.
Hooray, we got September, we got Doug, we got Stephanie, hello, and Kyle.
Aww. Aww.
Yay!
A husband-wife duo watching us together.
I paused because I'm trying to decipher Stephanie's screen name. Stephanie in...
Oh, I'll give you a minute. It's
Pets.
Yeah, that's how we say it. Stephanie and a Pets, but it's Stephanie forwards and backwards. It's a palindrome.
Oh wow! Oh, now I feel really dumb that I didn't see that.
I didn't know until much longer than it should have been. But that's what it is. I was like,
this makes no sense. In a pet.
Yeah.
I'll admit, an H also.
I thought, and it's probably because of the screen name and me not knowing it for a long time. But for a long time, I thought incorrectly, of course, that Stephanie was like a vet tech. And I think it's because I think it's because her screen name ends with pets.
Yes. I was like, she just like loves dogs or something. That's what's happening. But okay. Yeah. Okay, wait though. September just said, I wanted to thank you for teaching me my poop is brown. And I'm curious to know why you bring that up, September, because I feel like that was a while ago. And I can't remember exactly when.
Oh, teaching me why poop is brown. I thought she said teaching me that my poop is brown. And I was like,
she just hasn't been looking the whole time.
Yeah, I was like, well, I know September. I know she's not blind.
She's had children. So even if she wasn't looking at her own, maybe she's colorblind.
Yeah.
No, why poop is brown. I'm curious to know why you bring that up, because yes, you don't know, it's because of the bilirubin coming from your liver.
Good old bilirubin.
Stuff down. Bilirubin. It was in the Gross Questions episode. That's right. It was a long time ago. That's like 124 episodes ago.
I'm gonna write a short story, and one of the characters' names is gonna be Billy Rubin. I'm sure it's been done, but what would be a good like persona for Billy Rubin to like be a nod to Billy Rubin?
So I feel like Billy Rubin's sort of like the accountant of your body.
Yeah.
You need it in the right places, but you really don't want to see it elsewhere.
Oh.
But you really need it when you really need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or
nothing against accountants. It's just like when an accountant is there, you want it to be for good reasons.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, or like an actuary.
Yeah.
Or an insurance adjuster.
Exactly. Any of those things where, but I think a little, not quite insurance adjuster, because no one ever wants to see an insurance adjuster anywhere. So yeah, I would say something like accountant.
Yeah,
auditor,
you're right.
Maybe.
You're right. So, someone at the job where it's like when you see that person, your heart skips a beat for a second. You're like, wait a minute, you're here. Why are you here? And then you can be. There's always a scenario where you're like, okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, good. I have a story to relate real fast. So last show I talked about how I've been doing all these diet changes. I don't know if I talked about it on the pre-show or not, but I know I definitely talked to you about it more. I've been making all these diet changes because I went to the doctor and they told me that I have elevated blood pressure and it's not so bad that it's jumped straight to medication, but it's bad enough where they're like, let's take 30 days, see if you can what you can do to get this under control, and then if not, then we'll talk about medication, but maybe you can. So I've been making all these diet changes, and this past week, being the nerdy, sciencey person that I am, I decided I wanted to experiment with my body, and I was like, I looked up what the American Heart Association suggests as the recommended amount of sodium, because I've been suspicious that sodium might be contributing to it a lot.
It can make it.
I know that it can, and I know that I like really certain salty snacks. Like I eat pretzels a lot. I like pretzels a lot, And I know that I react. I've known this a long time about myself. I react to sodium very easily. I can tell if I've had like really, like if I go out and have Mexican food, for example, eat a bunch of chips and salsa and a bunch of cheesy food and everything for the rest of the day, my fingers and I just feel swollen.
You feel a little bloated. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Bloated is a better word for it. Yeah. But all my extremities, and so I know that I react to it when I eat salty food. So I thought maybe this is a big contributor. So I said, I'm going to take out of this 30 days, I've been taking my blood pressure twice a day, like very responsibly, once in the morning, once before I go to bed, keeping track of it in an app, all this kind of stuff. Let's see with all that data, if I take a whole week where I just dramatically reduce my sodium intake, will it have an effect? So I looked up what's the recommended intake. American Heart Association says like if you have blood pressure problems that you should limit your sodium intake to 1,500 milligrams per day. And this is what I think I was talking to you about last week, is that 1,500 milligrams per day is so hard. That is not
I don't really have a concept of. Yeah, so like let's say I have a handful of crackers. What am I looking at?
If you have like a handful of like saltine crackers, it might be a couple hundred.
Okay, all right.
Or maybe like 200. I know that a serving of like the pretzels I like to eat, that's like 400. A cup of baby carrots, Maura, has 100 milligrams of sodium in it. Yeah.
With nothing on them?
Yeah, just the carrots.
Okay, so everything has salt in it.
Almost everything. There are things you can have that aren't, but like I'll make a salad and the lettuce doesn't really have any. I'll have some apples on the side. I got like a nut and dried fruit mix that I can put in that is sodium free. So I'll make a salad and it's like, oh, look, this is like 5 milligrams of sodium so far. Let me put in 2 tablespoons of vinaigrette dressing, healthy dressing, and then now it's 350 milligrams of sodium.
Oh my gosh.
Just the dressing. So it's so hard, but I did it. Okay.
Okay, good for you.
For the whole week, I was under 1,500 milligrams a day. First of all, it's so hard. Like I didn't have to. So I'll be calorie counting sometimes, right? It is if you're watching your sodium and you stay under 1,500, do not even worry about your calories. You will never reach them. Like I was hungry all the time.
Oh, that's frustrating.
But I did it. Like I said, I lost. This is not healthy. I don't recommend this to anyone. But as I wasn't trying to lose weight, but I weighed myself this morning. I lost 3 pounds over this week because
could be just like sodium helps.
But that's part of it, right? That's part of it. I feel good. My body feels good. But
that's good to hear.
So last night I was like, I'm done finally. So Sunday nights we have it's like a pizza night. So we made like a frozen pizza. And we make some like dinosaur chicken nuggets to go with it. And,
oh boy!
And then and some canned green beans. The kids love canned green beans, so we made some of those. And we made it all. I was like, I'm good. I'm gonna go back. I'm just gonna eat that normal meal. I'm not like going back full into sodium or anything, but I was like, it's all about moderation anyway. So I'm just gonna have this meal. It's fine. I was like, I don't want to have another I don't want to go to bed hungry again tonight.
Oh my gosh, that's so frustrating.
But it was an experiment, right? Like that was never the plan. But anyway, so I ate it and I took 2 bites of the green beans and I was like, oh my God, this is so salty.
It changes your 100%.
That's the story. Like totally completely, changed. I could tell all the salt, and I said that to them. They laughed, and I was like, yeah, I never realized how salty And yes, I know the canned green beans are usually like packaged in a little bit of salt in the liquid, and you can get low sodium or sodium free ones, but we didn't have those. But I've never noticed the salt before.
Yeah, you don't think about it.
And so I did, and I was like, man. And then we ate, and I was eating the pizza, and it was pepperoni on the pizza, and I got through most of the way through a slice of pizza, and I said, are you guys like pranking me? Did you put salt on this pizza? Like it was almost intolerably salty.
Totally. I've done that too, where I had very little salt for a long time because my parents had blood pressure things. So like my whole life, honestly, I like almost had no salt in the house. And then when I like left home, I was like, oh, this is so salty. Like everything was so salty. That's crazy. Okay, but I need to know about your blood pressure. Did it have an effect?
It seemed that it did have a little bit of an effect overall the course of the week. It looked like it was definitely going down the first few days of the week, and then I had this weird 2 or 3 days where my blood pressure seemed to be really high, but there was a lot of like family stress happening too, so I wonder if that was contributing to.
Yeah, it's hard to know for sure.
Yeah, but then after things calmed down a bit, like yesterday, my blood pressure was pretty low again. It's still kind of on the borders. I anticipate I'm probably going to end up on some kind of low dose medication anyway. But I just, me, I'm like how curious I am about things. I was like, I'm going to try this.
I love that.
I couldn't believe that I made it the whole week doing that though. It was like,
that sounds tough.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think knowing that I was only going to do it for a week is what kept me able to do it. If I had to do that all the time, like, give me the medication, please. Like,
I think that that's why a lot of people do it, and also you build your life around it, so you would have tracked down the right stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely
things that would help you to.
I think that's definitely part of it. It was hard to eat around it because, we haven't spent all this. Like, you have to have. What you would do is you would have a lot of fresh food. You'd have a lot of fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, no processed meats. You know what frustrated me? I went on a rant with Stephanie about this. She was not the target of my rant. She was just the receiver of my rant.
like all married people know. Yeah, sometimes you just got to hear it out.
Yeah. So the rant I went on was 2 ounces of lunch meat. Of not terrible bologna either, like nice sliced deli lunch meat. 2 ounces, like 4 thin slices, is like 400 milligrams of sodium. I couldn't.
Gosh, like almost a third.
And it's because it's processed meats, right? And so you hear people say all the time, you should be eating less processed foods. But this is the rant. I don't feel like anyone ever taught me why I shouldn't be eating processed foods. And then that gets lost in the noise of a bunch of pseudoscientific health messaging, right? And so it's easy for me to roll my eyes at the processed foods thing, but I see like saturated fats and sodium are like the reasons that you shouldn't be that we should limit processed foods. So this amount of sodium, it's no wonder that everyone has heart disease now.
Well, here's the thing though. We don't actually 100% know what the link is between sodium and heart disease. We know that you can help your situation if you have heart disease already. You can help your body, because one of the problems is that your body's not processing sodium very well. And so you might end up with an imbalance that increases your blood pressure. And so that's why you reduce your sodium when you might have an issue. But
I mean, that's a fair point. If you have the sodium floating around in your bloodstream, then it's going to increase the volume of your blood. But if your body handles it well, and I've always suspected that my biology might just be that I don't metabolize the sodium as much as other people. So maybe I need to limit mine, whereas other people might not have any problem, right? And that's the genetics part of it, right? Like that's where everybody talks about how genetics are so crucial in blood pressure and everything. Aren't you doing something on heart stuff on the show? Are we
I'm talking about blood pressure medication actually.
Are we spending it all right now?
No, we're not. This is great. But I'm curious to know if you have heart conditions that run in your family.
Yeah.
Like, is this?
Yep.
So then maybe you're just one of those people. And the thing too, like if you get on medication early, then you can prevent damage, and that's really good, right?
Yes,
because high blood pressure causes damage in your body if it's not controlled. So you might just need to get there. It's interesting though, because heart disease tends to increase very quickly when you deal with deaths from like parasites and like germs.
Yeah.
If you have a society that has good sanitation and antibiotics and all that stuff, that's when heart disease starts to skyrocket because people live long enough to have heart disease.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's an interesting little tidbit statistic.
Yeah, it might just be, and not, of course, there's things you can do for your heart, exercise the big one, and eating well, but like at the end of the day, even if all of us were eating perfectly and exercising daily, we'd still see that increase in heart disease because we've got, we've prevented a lot of other deaths. So that's one hypothesis.
It's like how they say, I've heard I don't know who it was, but a neurologist one time I heard say that the incidence of dementia is increasing, like your lifetime risk of dementia is increasing in the population quite a bit. And they were saying, but that's like, in a weird way, that's like a great statistic, because the reason is because everybody's living longer, and you're bound to, you live long enough, you're going to end up with dementia, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you accumulate those proteins. Yeah. Apparently my camera is frozen.
That's weird. Let me check that. Thank you for letting us know.
All right, while you're checking, I'm catching up with chat because it's a great conversation, but they're having lots of good chats there too. So September explained that the reason she asked about poop is or she mentioned the brown poop is because her father recently passed, and when they were caring for him, I'll just read your comment, September. While we were caring for him in hospice, my stepmother and sister couldn't understand how he was pooping. When he hasn't eaten in days, I was able to explain. Well, I'm glad we gave you a little bit of an answer to a question during a difficult time, and our condolences to you and yours. And hi to Craig /depleted ZPM. I'm so excited that you're able to join us, because you're in the UK, and normally it's like 2 a.m. when we do our live shows. And so today I actually thought of you. I think it was you specifically, and a couple of other UK people who were like, please do a daytime one, or our daytime, so I can watch. And so hello, welcome.
I'm working on it. All
right.
Discord froze on the other computer, so I'm trying to get it to work.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh my god, it says preparing security options. It's not like preparing a security update. It's like preparing security options. What is happening?
This is good.
It's possible that they can't hear us anymore, but we're going to keep this under the assumption that they can, because this computer's acting like a fool.
Yeah, let us know if you can't hear me. Jokes. Oh, also, Logan commented, there's a reason we used to use salt as payment for things. I read a whole book about salt once, and it was the most interesting thing I ever, it was like 20 years ago, and I was totally fascinated by this subject. Salt has a crazy, insane history, because we couldn't get it very easily for a really long time. So it was super expensive and was used as currency, and that's where the word salary comes from.
Salary. Oh. Just restart everything. Oh wait, reconnection successful, it says. If it happens again, we'll just restart. I've had so many tech problems over here in the past month, haven't I?
Yeah, we have had a bunch.
Like, I can see on OBS, I'm moving around, everything's fine. And it says we're streaming. They may be able to hear me and you. Let me check. Yeah, they can. It's going out on YouTube. They can't see you, but they should be able to hear you.
Okay, good, says Stephanie. Oh no, she's saying good that I'm going to repeat my cool salt facts. Hey, you can hear us. Can you see us?
No, they can see me. They can't see you yet. Because...
just no more.
I just made the mistake of not restarting this computer before we did it. And it's like such an old computer, I think.
Ah, maybe that's the source of the troubles.
Yeah, it's I have a separate streaming computer, and I've thought about, long story short, Windows 10 is going to be not supported for much longer, and I'm thinking about building myself a new computer with the upgrade to Windows 11, because I never upgraded this computer to Windows 11 because when I tried, it had a bunch of difficulty with hardware compatibility. Like, it kept saying, after the test, your computer's not compatible with Windows 11, and I'm like, why? That doesn't make any sense. And and I got so frustrated. Anyway, this computer's starting to get old.
I'm still in Windows 10. I gotta get an upgrade.
Yeah, I don't remember when.
Anyway,
it is.
My cool salt fact, I think that got missed, but if I already said it, well, you're hearing it again. The places in Britain that end with the suffix wich, W-I-C-H, were once places where they were mining salt.
Why?
That's just the English word for it, Old English word for it. Greenwich.
Oh. So wich was what they was the word for salt, or at least something close to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love
sandwich, I guess.
I love etymology. We should have
Isn't it interesting?
We should have a segment on the show about etymology.
Oh my gosh, my daughter's like trying to write things.
Yeah.
She uses the sounds of the letters. She's like tried to write love, and she wrote L-U, and I was like, that is so logical.
Mm-hmm.
That is so great, and is not really going to be very helpful to you while learning English. What is the book on salt? I'm going to find it.
Discord says it's starting. It's just taking its time. We're getting there. Yes, Craig.
Super long.
This is the level of professionalism you miss when you're sleeping normally while we do this. All right, don't we inspire? You know what? I hope that this inspires all of you to know that you too could do a podcast.
Indeed. It's called Salt: A World History by Mark Kurlansky.
Those are the best history books where they take like a very narrow concept and use it as a vehicle to teach history. That.
Yeah, no, it's and it's very global too, because one of the things I didn't realize that I learned from this book is that the Indian resistance to British occupation, one of like the core things that Gandhi was pushing back against was that Indian people were not allowed to harvest salt. Only British people could, because they had control of the resource. They wanted control of the resource. And so one of his acts of resistance was to take, because I think it was like salt flats, so you could like literally just pick it up off the ground. And so one of his acts of resistance was to just take salt from the ground in defiance of those laws.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I did not know that. Like, you never think of it. It's just like this stuff. You spend $3 on a giant box of it, and then you like pour a cup and a half in a thing to make Play-Doh. Like, it's so freely available.
Yeah, they can see you again. We'll see how long this lasts. Good. I feel like history often is like math, in the sense that people just like kids and people grow up thinking it's really boring because it's just not, because of the way it's taught, you know?
Yeah, I know. It is taught very boring.
Math is taught as a list, as like a collection of algorithms, although that's changing now, the way math is taught, at least
Yeah,
here
new
in the
math
US.
is way better, let me tell you. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people who are down on it because it doesn't make sense
To them.
but it's way better. Yeah. To them, yeah.
And history was always, at least when I was in school, was always just taught as a collection of facts about the past, you know.
And I feel like what I learned about history was very sketchy. There was very little history in our curriculum in sort of a traditional sense. Like,
Yeah.
And it sort of started like when Canada started. Like that's kind of all we had. And of course very whitewashed, all that. But like it is really, I had no idea about the history of any other part of the world until I sought it out myself as an adult, and I always feel like that was a miss. There's no world history in any real sense. I didn't understand what Europe was and why it was the way it was, and other parts of the world even less. So
yeah, exactly. All right, you ready to get this show on the road?
Let's do it.
We spent some time dealing with tech difficulties and did a long pre-show, so I'm going to suggest, unless you have something in particular that you want to talk about at the top of the show, I'm going to just say, hey, we're live, and there's another live one in a few weeks, and let's get started, and we'll just jump into it. How about that?
That's perfect. Mine's a little long anyway.
Okay, perfect. Great. All right, everybody, buckle in. You're in, because it's time for the ride of your life.
Wait, the show hasn't started yet? Nope. Stephanie, we're just getting rolling. Okay, let's do this. My customary pre-show cough.
Yep. I should collect
them all.
The
air quality here is 11 out of 11 today, so at least I'm justified this time. Now the hair in my face. Okay. Hey everyone, it's September 8th, 2025, and you're listening to All Around Science. My name is Maura Armstrong.
And I'm Bobby Frankenberger, and we are two huge fans of science, here to get you caught up on what's going on in the world of science and just generally geek out about science stuff. Maura, we're in a hurry.
We are doing a live show, and we got a little carried away with the pre-show, plus some tech problems.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time in the pre-show, so we are going to tell you guys about another live show that's happening on September 25th, because if you're not here for this one and you're like, man, darn it, missed it, we're doing one on September 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you're really sad right now and you're thinking, oh gosh, they're jumping straight to the science news, and I love the top of the show talk.
Bant.
Well, guess what? You'll always get it if you come to a live show. So come to the live show September 25th, 9 p.m. Eastern, or become a patron. You'll get to hear all this stuff anyway. Patreon.com/allaroundscience. But in the meantime, I think we can't be in a hurry for the science part, and so that's why we're going to just go ahead and get to it. All right.
Take it very deliberately. All right, let's do this. Okay. I'm gonna take a minute.
Yeah.
Craig says he's getting very spotty audio, and I need some water. This smoke is no joke. So
okay.
Give me 1 second, and then we'll get started.
Is everybody else hearing the audio fine? I always love crowdsourced feedback about how things are sounding and looking and doing. Says the stream is healthy. So. Okay, good. As long as it's just Craig missing out on good audio, then I'm fine. She should not leave to go and throw up. Is that I'm assuming that's a TMS reference.
I didn't leave to go through a. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to leave you all hanging.
All right. Well, we are ready
But
when
it's
you
better
are.
than me getting a scratchy voice. Okay, here we go. So we were talking a little bit in the pre-show about heart health.
Yeah, a lot of it.
And the change. Yeah. The change from a pre-industrial society to the kind of society we now live in. One of the changes you'll see is a lot of heart problems. It's one of the top causes of death is heart conditions of some type or another.
Yeah.
And over the last few decades, there's been just a ton of research into how we can adjust for this. How can we help people with heart conditions? How can we treat it? How can we adjust our lifestyles to manage it? All those sorts of things. And one of the really important drugs that has been part of this is beta blockers. So I want to talk about a study that is focused on beta blockers, but found out something a little bit different.
Yeah, I've heard of beta blockers. They're like a standard of care for heart stuff.
Yes, and they've been around a really long time. They're generally considered safe. They're used in a lot of situations. They decrease blood pressure. And I'll talk a little bit about their function, but it turns out they might not be as useful as we thought they were based on this study. So
what? Don't tell me that. I might be on a beta blocker before long. I don't know.
Well, okay. This is so interesting, and there's a risk, I think, talking about this news item to hear the result. Beta blockers are bad, but as we know, one scientific study does not rule out everything else, and this is a very specific situation that they're looking at.
Yeah.
So beta blockers, their job is to block beta receptors.
Beta blockers' job is to block beta.
Yep, that's right. It's nice when it's just in the name.
Yeah.
From a tautological, pharmacological name. Your heart's control nodes that tell your heart when to beat, they contain beta receptors that are triggered by adrenaline or epinephrine in your blood and noradrenaline in your nerves, or norepinephrine. Mm-hmm. And when it's triggered by that, it increases your heart rate. So this is when adrenaline is inducing that fight or flight reaction. You see a bear, adrenaline goes through your body, it's released, increases your heart rate, and allows you to respond. You've got more blood in your muscles, your eyes are dilated. All of that starts with adrenaline, and beta receptors are what allow your heart rate to increase.
Right.
And beta blockers prevent this from happening. It also it doesn't just prevent that specific exchange. The change, because you always have a little bit, there's adrenaline in your body at whatever levels all the time, plus you've got those nerve signals that are coming in. So what it does is it slows your heart down. Mm-hmm. And it relaxes your blood vessels, and that drops your blood pressure. It's very helpful if you have high blood pressure, and it's been used as a treatment for 40 years, maybe even longer, in particular after heart attacks. And through that time, in the last 40 years, the understanding of heart attacks, the understanding of heart conditions has been gradually evolving.
Yeah, but, as it would over 40 years, right?
Yeah. But our understanding of beta blockers has not really moved too much, or our use of them anyway. Okay. There have been many studies on them still. And they have a long treatment history. They're generally safe.
Right.
Now, I want to talk about what a heart attack is as well. The medical term for it is a myocardial infarction, or MI. The blood being supplied to your heart, what happens when you have a heart attack is the blood that's being supplied to your heart gets blocked, because there's vessels that are kind of all around your heart. You know, if you've seen a picture of a heart, you can see the sort of, there's like veins and vessels around it as well. Those are keeping your heart oxygenated.
Right. Your heart's a muscle. It needs blood to function as well.
Exactly. And if for whatever reason, usually some kind of buildup of fat inside or thickening of the arteries, it'll eventually get blocked if that happens to you. So too much fat inside those arteries blocks the blood rather to the muscle. That means you have dead heart muscle, no oxygen, and your heart will start to die. Obviously, that's going to cause some major problems with the function of your heart. Part of it is dead. And an initial intervention, like you have a heart attack, you go unconscious, ambulance comes, you get all the treatments you need. Even if you get them really quickly, you're still at risk of it happening again. Or your damaged heart now might malfunction in some other way. And one of the big concerns is arrhythmias. So now you have a section of your heart that's not firing properly, it's not pumping properly, and it's all connected, right? It's all this sort of big net. You can imagine the heart muscles are like a big net that are communicating with each other. And so if part of it isn't working, you're going to maybe have problems. Arrhythmias is when your heart isn't beating in a very efficient beat.
The rhythm is off, arrhythmic.
Rhythm is off, yes. So there was a meta-analysis of beta blocker studies from the late 90s that showed this incredible effect. If you have that heart attack, you get all that intervention, and then afterwards you are put on beta blockers, it could lower the risk of death by 23% after that heart attack.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what why I'm curious to hear more from you, is because I have always heard that they have been in a clinical setting, in practice, they've been very successful. My wife is a pharmacist. I hear her talk about beta blockers all the time. I'm going to need her to listen to this as well.
Yes, absolutely. I was gonna message her, but I didn't have time. But I would love to hear her take on this.
So I want to hear more about this because data has shown us, at least in clinical settings, that these work. So what's going on? Tell me more.
Yes.
Keep going.
The reason it works too is it slows down the heart, because you can sometimes get those arrhythmias can make a faster heart rate, and that's tiring for your heart, and it's not great. It can also change blood pressure. It decreases blood pressure. Beta blockers decrease blood pressure, like I mentioned. And it also makes your heart muscles less reactive. So this is what it will do. It'll create a longer refractory time. And that basically means that when you tell a muscle to pump, to push, to contract, it gives it a longer break before it's able to do that again.
Right. There's for gamers, there's a cooldown after a nerve fires. There's a cooldown period where it cannot fire again. That's the refractory period.
The refractory. That's such a good analogy. And heart muscles, same thing. They have that cooldown period. And so that allows your heart to make sure it keeps sort of pumping on a more regular rhythm.
Yeah.
Now, foreshadowing. This very important meta-analysis from the late 90s that had 2,000 citations did not mention gender.
Okay.
So
good to know.
Just note, I couldn't find it anywhere in the paper. Since then, since the late 90s, cardiac treatment has evolved significantly. There's new treatments and drugs that prevent clotting in a more direct way. So they're antiplatelets. So those little tiny bits, not bits, but they're sort of like bits of cells that go through your body and create scabs. Antiplatelet and anticoagulant. So when your blood clots, sometimes that's what will jam up your arteries. And those can be used really quickly to clear things up. And there's also great drugs and treatments that restore heart tissue. So this the treatment is called reperfusion. Perfusion meaning you get blood spread through all of the cells. So when you reperfuse it, because of the problem with the heart attack is blocking blood from getting into that cell, so it's not perfused. When you reperfuse it, you're getting more blood back in. So either you're physically opening up the artery with a stent or something. There's one where they put this a catheter up and just make a little balloon,
Yeah.
in there. A bypass, they take a vein from your leg and bypass it from one section of your heart to another. And all of these interventions, and some of them existed in the 90s too, but they've become much more used and much more refined and all of that. All of these interventions mean that heart attack outcomes now are much better than they once were, just overall.
Yeah.
Beta blockers notwithstanding. Okay, here we go. Time for the paper. There's a huge study called the REBOOT study that specifically wanted to study what are the effects of beta blockers after a heart attack.
Okay.
And 2 papers, just a couple of days ago as of this recording, 2 papers were published as part of this massive study. So it followed 8,438 patients after a heart attack. All of these patients, to get into this study, you had to have a left ventricular ejection fraction that was greater than 40%.
Okay.
Now, your left ventricular ejection fraction. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
It's so simple. It's how much of your blood is getting pumped out of your left ventricle.
Why didn't I just say
that? Yeah, it's a very and so.
But it makes sense when you look at the words now. Left ventricular ejection fraction.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Greater than 40%. So a healthy person is going to be about 70%. If you have 40% left ventricular ejection fraction, LVEF, that is pretty good after a heart attack. That means your outcomes are looking strong.
Okay, good.
So these are people who probably are going to make it. Looks like they're doing okay. We want to see what's the effect of beta blockers on these people.
Right. Okay. That's what I was going to say. Is re-anchor us. We're looking at these people. The study is looking at people who have good prognosis after a heart attack. They're likely to survive.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Half of those 8,438 patients took beta blockers and half did not.
Okay. After
their heart attack. So the first paper reported that repeat heart attacks let me start again. The first paper reported that repeat heart attacks, hospitalization for heart problems, and death, those rates were the same in both groups.
Oh. So just as likely to have another heart attack, be hospitalized, or die.
Exactly.
If whether you're on beta blockers or not after a heart attack. Okay.
Yes. So if the original treatments that you got were effective, then and you got this good outcome, beta blockers seem to be doing pretty much nothing to prevent outcomes from worsening.
Interesting.
Now the second paper was a little more grim.
Oh, that already sounded a little grim, but but keep going.
Not so much grim, just kind of neutral.
I guess you're right. It's just saying you don't need to take these because everything else is doing what it needs to do. You're good. Beta blockers aren't helping you. That's what the first paper is saying. You can do you can do without the beta blockers. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They're not necessary, and they have side effects. You just want to make sure that you're taking something that's actually helping you.
Yeah, exactly. So what about this grim second paper?
So among women who retained more than 50% LVEF,
so even better.
Attack, so the best, some of the better outcomes.
Yeah.
Beta blockers actually cause more adverse outcomes.
Really?
So it reported that repeat heart attacks, hospitalization for heart problems, and death increased among that group, especially if they had a higher dose.
Wow. Ooh. So there's a dose response that they saw.
Yes.
So
yeah, and they also were controlling for other factors, age and comorbidities, because women are less likely to have heart conditions. So you might see older women and women who have other comorbidities, which means other illnesses that will affect their heart. Mm-hmm. So they did control for that, and they still saw that increase. But what's interesting is for women with mildly impaired ejection fractions, so 41 to 49%, the adverse outcomes didn't meaningfully increase.
That is really interesting. So
isn't that fascinating?
So the among the best people whose heart were performing even better, the the beta blockers potentially didn't do anything, but potentially made things worse in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really interesting.
Isn't that so fascinating? And to me, this is so interesting because, like you said, it's a very common drug. It's being taken all the time, and there's a couple of thoughts that the authors put forth. A couple of thoughts as to why. It might be because women have smaller heart cavities and less body weight. That could be something that's contributing. A beta blocker is just having too much of an effect on it, perhaps. Higher body fat percentage, because women typically have a higher body fat percentage. My question is whether there's a hormonal differences in hormones that are interacting differently with beta blockers, and that question sort of leads to the next one: is how much have women been studied specifically while on beta blockers?
Right.
And you've all heard me rant about women and medical research, but beta blockers are so common. I wouldn't be surprised to know that they have done at least some research on women.
Right.
And I wonder too, if this is the case post heart attack, you're getting worse outcomes if your heart has been doing better. What about using beta blockers for general use? Like if you have high blood pressure, you're a woman, your heart's going fine. Like if your heart is fairly healthy, but your high blood pressure is a problem, you take beta blockers. Are you now just no heart attack has happened? Are you increasing your risk for hospitalization?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's an important. This seems like low key a very important finding that these studies have found.
Yeah.
Like we really need to dig in.
Mm-hmm. And they listed a couple of other drugs that are more effective post heart attack, that they see good outcomes with.
Mm-hmm.
And so this could change sort of the standard of care. Beta blockers may not be prescribed anymore post heart attack. I mean, they were only looking at heart attacks, hospitalizations, and death. They weren't looking at other outcomes. So beta blockers, they're decreasing blood pressure, and maybe you feel better on them. Maybe there's other outcomes that are really positive long term. This was also only over a course of, I think, 3.5-4 years. It wasn't a super long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So many questions to ask. Thank you, everyone, for staying with me. I got a little into the weeds on this one.
That was very interesting, though.
It's so fascinating, and I absolutely have to hear from Stephanie on this. I want to hear her thoughts.
Mark. All right. I did text Stephanie. She hasn't gotten back to me yet. I text her because in the middle of that, I was thinking there is a drug, and I think it's a heart-related drug. It could be a cholesterol-related drug. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a drug that she jokes that pharmacists joke all the time. Pharmacist jokes. But in the pharmacy world, there's a joke that there's this one drug that just it should be put in the water supply because it's so good for you. And it really tickles my memory. I wonder if it was beta blockers.
Might be.
So that would be really interesting to hear from. But I did text her. I said, are beta blockers that drug you joke we should all be on? But so I'll let you know if any point during the show she gets back to me about it. But
well, it is a safe drug. Like there's nothing wrong with beta blockers.
Right. And you know, we didn't. I think you said this well, but it bears. I mean, just to remember, like this study, like was looking at a very narrow population, right? Like, I mean, not super narrow, but still narrow. It was looking at people post heart attack, so like not everybody has a heart attack.
Yeah. And with good outcomes. So there's like, and the fact that it didn't affect people at all, didn't affect death rates at all, whereas that other study said it prevented 23% of deaths. That's huge. That's a huge change.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do next. I mean, there's also a chance like some studies just end up being thrown out because they're bad.
Yeah.
No chance it's a bad study. Sometimes crazy results like this come from bad science, but I definitely am not qualified to say whether it was good or bad. But I can say it was published.
Yeah. Which, isn't always saying much, but...
Nope. Doesn't say all of it. But thanks for bearing with me. Like I said, I knew this would be a long one, but when I get into the health ones, I get really nitty gritty.
Well, I think that's normal because a lot of times we get the sense from the limited knowledge we have when we read some health news item that, oh, this is interesting. But in order to communicate it to everyone, we have to make sure that we get all the groundwork laid so that we can all, like, you know what I mean? Like, so you can sometimes really get into the weeds on these things because you need to make sure that we're all on the same page about how does the heart work? What are beta blockers even doing? Like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
She said it was not beta blockers, it's ACE inhibitors. That's what.
Okay.
She said.
And that is, I think, a heart related one too.
Yeah.
Whew, well, that's good. Hello to Claire, who just popped into the chat.
Claire.
Also in a
out of work. You can start.
GMT.
Yeah.
So good to see you and all you other fine folks. We have a good crew today.
Yeah, we do. Now let's talk about AI, everybody's favorite topic. There will be no arguments in the chat. Get ready to
be super pumped about our future as a species.
All right, here we go. Maura, I got a question for you to start off our discussion and conversation here. It has to do with AI. I'm going to be talking... 2 weeks ago, I've been thinking a lot about AI, as have we all. But I've been doing the daily science brief, and there's AI news popping up all the time. I talked about it 2 weeks ago when we talked about teen use of AI companions, I think we were just talking offline. I don't think it was in a pre-show or during the show, but we were talking about AI, and you offhand mentioned that you try to limit your AI use because of energy consumption, right? Like because of its environmental impact. There's a lot of talk in the news about environmental impact of AI. So I wanted to start with a question, which is, what do you think is the global energy use as a result of AI per year? Global energy use. So I have the numbers in terawatt hours, but I know that doesn't mean anything to you. So
yeah, no, I like a billion butterfly wing flaps. Like I could not tell you. What I do know is one of the biggest questions that AI companies have is, where are we gonna get enough power to do this? So it's to the point where we are questioning our ability to even power AI because it requires so much.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm the CEO, I think, is the proper term for OpenAI, that people who make ChatGPT, Sam Altman. He's talked about that in the past couple of years a lot, about how things need to change. If AI's here and it's growing, things need to change in order for it to be sustained. But here, I'll give you the numbers. We'll just jump to it. The numbers I have are actually in terms of, they're not totally accurate. A lot of this, a lot of figuring out how much energy AI uses is difficult because for proprietary reasons, companies, guarding information, but also just because there's so much involved. But some of what we do know has to do with the amount of energy being used by data centers. AIs use data centers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They use a lot of data centers. And so in 2022, it was found that 460 terawatt hours of energy were used by data centers alone. Now, I know you're thinking again, 460 terawatt hours. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything to me. But if it were a country, because we know how much money or how much energy countries use, if data centers were a country, then it would in 2022 they would have placed 11th in amongst the countries as the 11th largest energy consumer between France and Saudi Arabia. Right?
Wow. Okay, so this is all data centers.
Yes, this is all data centers. So that's why I say it's difficult to tease this all apart and whatnot. But I'm going to do a lot of like this year and then this year comparisons because we know, and the reason is because we know that data center growth has exploded in the past few years, and that is almost entirely because of AI. Yeah. So if we look at the growth, it will give us a bit of a sense of how much energy is being consumed. And so in 2022, data centers were the 11th largest energy consumer between France and Saudi Arabia. By 2026, by next year, in just a few months, it's expected that will grow to 1,050 terawatt hours.
Dang.
So more than double, and that will put them as the 5th largest country of energy consumers between Russia and Japan.
Wow.
So that's a lot. And so, again, that growth, that doubling or more than doubling, is largely, very largely because of AI. And so I thought it'd be interesting to look at this. I think we've talked about this a long time ago, but this changes a lot, as you can see. So I think it's important to take a look at it. What the energy cost of new technologies can be, and to think about that, right? So like when electric cars were invented, we have to look at like it's important for us in general to consider the energy cost of new technologies. Is what I'm saying. Electric cars, if we have electric cars, they're not just going to be a totally an unmitigated good, because you now have this new technology that is being added to the landscape, and it has to be powered somehow, right? So they're everywhere. You got to give them energy. Air conditioners. I like the air conditioners is a better example in my opinion. Air conditioners were introduced. This is a brand new thing that no one knew or had before. Now they're in all these houses, and those are energy sucks, right? Those take so much energy, and now everybody has one. That has dramatically increased the amount of energy use that humanity has, right? Like how much energy we're using.
Yeah.
So AI is like one of these things, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I think AI is a little bit different, and it's a little bit more insidious because it's easy to overlook how much energy AI uses, because I think it feels like we haven't added anything new in terms of energy use.
What do you mean?
Well, because I feel like, and this is maybe my perspective, but what I mean is in terms of energy usage, when I engage with AI, it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything different, right? It feels like I'm just using my computer, which I was using already anyway, right?
That's true. It's sort of seamlessly integrated into the existing experience that we have. So if you type, how much power does AI use? And then you get the AI summary, you're not like, oh no. Like, it's not like a little bar goes on the corner of your screen. It's like, you use this much more power. Like,
but also like, yeah, exactly. But also like, it's not like to use AI, I'm going to my other device over here and turning it on and cranking it on and seeing how like, oh, there is a thing I'm using that. No, I'm using the thing I'm already using. And so it doesn't feel, I think sometimes like as a user, it doesn't feel like we're doing anything, but
that's a fair point.
All of that gets done on other machines somewhere else. Like anything we do on the internet, right? All of the the computational power in order to do those things is offloaded onto a data set, a server somewhere. And so those are the things that are doing it's all happening outside of our view. And so we've all heard about how much AI is using a massive amount of energy, but I want to know, like, how is it using all this energy? Why is it? Where is all that energy coming from? And maybe the most important question, is it true that using AI is costing us a bunch of energy? Because we talk a lot about how all the positive things that AI has done, and I think I'm going to try to stay more positive here. This isn't a discussion about all the bad things that AI is doing to society. We talked a little bit about that last time I talked about AI with AI companions, but this is just we're talking about the energy, right? So we want to know. So let's start with first what I think the way we engage with it is we type in prompts to the AI, we type in queries, questions, or something into ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever.
What have you?
Yeah, and we press enter and it does it. So that prompt, how much does that prompt cost? Right? Researchers estimate that a typical query to ChatGPT uses around 5 times as much as electricity as just a simple web search. Although that's probably not totally true anymore, because most of us are using Google, and Google by default is using AI also to give you responses. You can turn that off.
You can? I still can't. Oh God, I'm so embarrassed that I don't know how to turn it off.
I don't know how to turn it off.
It doesn't seem to have the option.
But
there is an extension you can add to Google Chrome that will turn it off. I don't see like a native way to do it. I switched to DuckDuckGo, which also has an AI overview that is easy to turn off.
Well, I guess the point being that you can turn them off usually. Yes, in Chrome you can do it, because you're right. You go up into the bar at the top on Chrome and you type anything, and that's searching in Google, right? Within Chrome you can turn that off. But anyway, the point is that it's about 5 times as much as just a simple web search, and that does sound like a lot, I think, 5 times as much. But what does that really mean in numbers? 5 times, because 5 times the amount of electricity it takes to run my air conditioner for a week, that's a lot of energy. But 5 times as much of energy as it takes to flick on an LED, to flick it on and off for a second, that's not a lot of energy. So 5 times as much might still not be a lot of energy, right?
Fair. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Although I will highlight the number of Google searches.
Yes.
Prompts is probably very high.
the scale is important, right?
Yeah.
And
but anyway, go on.
So we do know, because I think Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI that I was mentioning earlier, has said how much at least ChatGPT uses during an average prompt, because this is something that he's talking about, energy usage with AI. He says each prompt takes about 0.34 watt hours of electricity and 0.32 milliliters of water. Water is another thing, because water is used to cool. We talked about it in a news item recently, or last week. Water is used to cool these things. Now, again, 0.34 watt hours. What does that mean? Well, let's do some quick math. You said scale, right? Everybody's using Google and ChatGPT and all this kind of stuff. There are on ChatGPT, Sam Altman has reported that 2.5 billion queries a day on ChatGPT. Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So if you do all the math, that works out to be 850 megawatt hours of energy that are used per year, or per day. I'm sorry. 850 megawatt hours per day, which is the average amount of energy to power 80 U.S. homes in a year, are used every day for these queries, right?
Okay.
So that's a lot.
That is a lot. That is a lot. Every day, 80 homes for a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so also over 211,000 gallons of water every day, enough for 1,400 people per year to drink. So that's a lot. That's a lot of water.
1,400 per year.
Yeah.
And that's in a single day. Oh my God.
That's how much water and energy are being used, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, though, 1,400 people per year to drink is different than like just living, right? Like, because you use more water. You use water to like shower.
Yeah, that's just for drinking. Like how much you need for your body to function. That's not the average person's water usage. That's just how much we in order to survive.
Got it.
So another way to think about it is if for one day all of ChatGPT turned off all of their everything, then we could take all the water that they would have used and give it to 1,400 people in the desert to survive.
Which, it's funny you say that because it kind of is literally true because a lot of these data centers are in California, which are taking water from the desert.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway. So that's how much our individual prompts cost. And I think we're gonna talk about all the costs on three different levels, and then we're gonna put it all together and have a discussion. So I'm gonna get through some more. So that's not the only amount that of energy that AI uses, because there's also AI training that has to happen.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah.
Everything that we use, whenever we use ChatGPT, it's not learning anymore exactly. What has happened is they have all these models you hear about, 3.0, 4.0 mini, all these different models, ChatGPT 5, all these different, those are models. And what they've done behind the scenes before they released it for us to use is they spent a ton of time and energy and money and electricity and water to train that AI in order to be able to do what it now does for you. Right. And the training process is massively energy intensive. It's massively energy intensive.
I knew it was, but like, what's the comparison?
So research from UC Berkeley estimates that GPT-3 took about 1,287 megawatt hours to train. That's enough power to it's enough energy to power 120 U.S. homes for a year, and 552 tons of carbon dioxide were put into the atmosphere to train, and that's the carbon impact of 585 round-trip flights between New York and Los Angeles. It's the lifetime emissions of almost 10 cars, is what they estimate.
It's so funny. As you're talking, I feel like my brain is vacillating between that's a lot and that's not a lot. Like those flights, that sounds crazy. Lifetime emission of 10 cars, that doesn't. Is that really how much cars put into that? That's wild.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing: 1,287 megawatt hours in a day and a half. The queries alone are going to outstrip that. So
yes, so that's one thing to think about, is that the training costs happen only one time, theoretically. It only happens once, but there's sort of like new models are being trained all the time, because it's like, oh, we can make it better now. It's happening
a lot, is what you're saying.
Yes, it's happening. It's happening more often than maybe it needs to, some people say.
Jeez, that's wild.
Yeah. There's another LLM that was trained back in 2019 called BERT. Never even heard of it. B-E-R-T.
That's only the AI hipsters know about BERT.
Yeah. They were using AI before it was cool.
Way better.
It used the carbon emissions of a single transcontinental flight. That's still a lot, but it was not very much. And the reason I bring it up,
585.
Well, the reason I bring it up is this was 2019, right? GPT-3 was like, I think around 2022. So just a few years later, it exploded and was costing way more. And so this exponential growth is what we're seeing in the amount of energy that it costs to train an AI. They estimate that the amount of energy that will be needed to train new AI models doubles every around 3.5 months. So that's massive growth, right? It's exponential growth.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And another thing to think about is that the power demands of training AI aren't smooth, right? There are fluctuations in demand happen. So what that means is that when you're on the grid, energy use it fluctuates a little bit up and down, pretty smooth, and the power companies, they can predict that and they can handle it. But when huge spikes in demand come, they have to crank up diesel generators and stuff in order to meet that demand. And so
much more carbon.
So yeah, then you're cranking up these diesel generators to start, and you pump a bunch of carbon into the atmosphere in order to do it, right? So there are downsides to that, these fluctuations. And as I said before, theoretically, the cost should only happen once, but it's happening more and more. It's happening a lot every time these new models come out. All right, so we've covered how much does it cost to execute your individual query. Maybe not a lot, but at scale, a lot. And how much does it cost to train? It's a decent amount. Experts say that those two are like when you lay it all out, the energy cost to run the queries at scale is about matches the overall energy cost of training new models right now. So they're about even. But how much does the data center itself cost in terms of energy, right? Data centers need a lot of energy in order to run, and they've been around for a long time. We've known data centers and they're not just used for AI, right? So Amazon has more than 100 data centers worldwide, which I wasn't aware of. They've got tons.
Yeah, that's an interesting fact to know.
Yeah,
and I would have thought it was more, actually.
Oh yeah, right.
100 doesn't feel like enough. You know, like Amazon's so huge. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: those data centers are massive.
I can imagine. Yes, I'm sure.
They're filled with computers and servers that are handling internet traffic, and because there's so many of them in a small amount of area, they need lots of energy and water to keep them cool. So the water usage that is required, the estimates are that for each kilowatt hour of electricity being used, it takes 2 liters of water to keep the data center cool.
Oh, wow.
And so 460 terawatt, I did the math, 460 terawatt hours per year that we talked about earlier in 2022, that works out to be 920 billion liters of water.
Do we have that much?
Here's the hope.
How much is on the earth?
Yeah.
That feels like way too much.
Keeping my fingers crossed that we do have that much water.
Well, I guess someone's doing it, or maybe. I'm just.
You think there are people out there just like
real quick look up how much water's on Earth? I mean, obviously it's way more than that much because of the ocean, but fresh water.
Now it does get recycled, of course. It's not just like they're using it and then it's done; it just disappears from the Earth. But it's still not totally. It's not like 100% efficient, right? We do, I'm sure, lose some of that water. But
the Earth contains 370 million trillion gallons of water in total.
Million trillion, that's quite a lot.
But that's total. It's not.
Yeah. That's probably seawater, freshwater, groundwater, everything.
I think it's like 2% of that is. Anyway, sorry.
That's all right. But
it's enough. It's enough. We can do it.
We've got the water, but maybe not if it keeps exponentially growing. That could be a problem. Another externality that a lot of times we might not think about is that data centers require hardware to build.
This is really interesting.
Yeah. And so one of the things, data centers don't use our computers that we're recording on right now, and maybe people are listening to us on, our computers in our homes and offices. One of the big processing units that it uses is a CPU, a central processing unit, right? CPUs are built to be general purpose, low latency processors. They're just kind of like all around good, but the data centers, especially for AI, use GPUs, graphical processing units. So if you have a gaming computer and your computer has a graphics card in it, those graphics cards have GPUs in them, graphic processing units. They are different. They are really good at handling parallel processing really well. So that's why AI
Mm.
likes using them, is because AI, the way it works, it breaks down tasks into smaller parts and computes them simultaneously very quickly. And so that's how the algorithms work. So GPUs are perfect for that because they can handle all this parallel processing of multiple tasks really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so we make tons and tons and tons and tons of GPUs to put into these data centers that are processing AI. But they use slightly different materials than CPUs, and the manufacturing and transporting of those has a huge carbon footprint, right? Because they're being built tons and tons and tons and tons. The raw materials that are needed for them require toxic chemicals to mine and process. So all of this can be detrimental. NVIDIA, these are all GPU manufacturers. NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel say that in 2023 they shipped 3.85 million GPUs to data centers in 2023, which is up from 2.67. It's up by over a million GPUs in the previous year. So again, that growth tells you that many of them are because of AI data centers.
That's a 50% growth, just about. Like to be able to manufacture that many more. Think of all the systems, the mining, the factory, the workers that you have to put into place. Like that is a monstrous increase. That's crazy.
So those are the numbers, right? Those are the numbers now. All these three different levels that I mentioned are individual use of AI, what we as an individual use, how much the training costs, and what it costs to make these data centers. So now I want to ask you, Maura, after hearing all that, where do you stand on the issue of AI use? I think I want to, let me just ask there and see where you go with it. Where do you stand on it now?
I did have a thought recently, in the last few months. Did we ever consider just not doing this? Like, did we ever think maybe don't dip our toe in that particular pool?
Yeah.
You know, and the Pandora's box is now open, and there's no going back.
I do think that is maybe sometimes a fun academic conversation to have, but the Pandora's box analogy is a good one, because I think it's gone. It's a foregone conclusion that AI is a part of life now, and it will continue to be a part of life.
In the early AI boom, I guess this would have been 2022, I went to a talk about it, and someone said this really, I felt like it was really poignant quote, and I think it's quite an old proverb, that nothing huge comes into the world without a curse.
Sure. Yeah.
This is huge, and it truly is going to change everything about our lives, either because of rampant, uncontrollable power use, or because we use it enough to change our brain structure, or because it saves us time when meal planning. Like there's everything that you use it for, and every impact it ultimately has is going to it is going to change so much, and it already has. I think it's hard for us to really conceive of how much AI has changed our lives. And like, it is a common thing for people to go to ChatGPT, enter in their relationship conundrum, and get a response. Enter in, please help me, give me some way to teach my child to master new math, because I don't get it.
Sure.
ChatGPT can help you out. I think there's an interesting thing I heard too, that YouTube, I heard this maybe 10 years ago, YouTube has become our grandparents, because it used to be you call your grandma if you need
Right.
help knowing how to make a roast or whatever. And now you don't need to anymore. And I
Right.
feel like ChatGPT does that for expertise.
Yeah, everything else, right? Like,
Yeah, like I had I'm knitting socks and I had a pattern I couldn't figure out. And I was like, I don't understand what it's trying to tell me to do. So I put it into ChatGPT and it helped me figure it out.
right.
And I was like, it kind of walked me through it in a way that a Google search really wasn't doing
Yeah.
properly. So you asked me where I stand on the use. Obviously, like I just said, I do use it. I don't love getting an AI summary with every Google search. I think it reduces my ability to read things and connect them on my own. It also takes a lot of power, so no thank you. But I think that if you don't use it, you risk falling behind in the workplace.
Yeah.
Because it's a core part of a lot of working spaces at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I was a kind of an AI optimist, honestly, early days, and I'm less excited about it because of the power and water requirements, and also because to me, the way that we process information and our depth of understanding, our critical thinking, our intelligence is so core to the human experience and to interacting with each other in a constructive way. And I think there's a risk that AI will affect that.
I think your reaction to it is you're a good like crystal ball into how or a mirror of how we as people react to big disruptive technologies in general. And I think this is why I always, with new technologies, I often take I try to be slow to react, because we're recording this live, and Palmer's in the chat said kind of what I think about sometimes. He said people in the 1500s believed that the printing press would be the end of civilization. I think we always have this reaction, and every time there's always what's always the case is that there is a lot of good and there are a lot of drawbacks, and we have to figure out how to get the good, keep the good, while mitigating the bad stuff. And that becomes harder and harder and harder as our disruptive technologies become like more and more disruptive, right? And AI is huge with that. And so I think if we're to draw a little bit of a circle around the discussion we're having right now and look at just the power use, because I think there's a huge discussion to be had about other impacts. But I think it's easy to say that industry has to be thinking about this. The people who are creating the AI and building the data centers, they need to be thinking about this. On an individual level, I'm very much reminded of like past discussions in like about recycling and turning off the lights in your room, and how companies like to point the arrow of blame back at us as individuals and try to make it our responsibility to mitigate what they're doing, right? So that they don't have to worry about it as much. They can just keep innovating and keep building new stuff. It's like, we're not
stop making all these plastic bottles if you'd stop buying them.
Right. Or I'm making all these plastic bottles. All you have to do is just make sure you recycle every single one of them. You know?
Yeah, which also has its own.
Well, right.
Piece.
Forgetting that, but that's what a lot of companies are saying that, right? Like if they're not saying that, I think explicitly about this, it just has echoes of that kind of an argument when people start saying like, how much is the individual using whenever they execute a query? If we really think about it, it's not that much. If you, Maura, stop using AI, nothing's going to change. Like you've
No.
made such a small, but and that's not me saying you shouldn't or that you're wrong for making that decision. That's different. That's a personal choice. What makes you feel good about your.
But like the material change in the world, if I stopped ever using an AI, is really minimal. You're right, it is.
Yeah, but you have to do what makes you feel good about. It might just be you need to stop because you don't want to feel like you're contributing to that massive amount of abuse. At least you can feel good about that. But so. Yeah, I think so. I do think that some of them are thinking about it. As I said, I keep mentioning Sam Altman, the OpenAI, and it's not because I'm like I love the guy or anything. I don't really know anything about him. It's just whenever I was doing research for this, his name kept coming up in things he talked about at a recent World Economic Forum in 2024, and he did say that the AI industries is going to hit a wall, and that they're only going to be able to continue making these technology breakthroughs if they're able to, his quote was, increase energy development. Now, it seems like that means he's thinking about there's a lot of energy being used, but if you really think about it, I think it's an acknowledgement that it's an energy use problem, but he's still shifting the blame away from AI people and towards, it's not shifting it towards the energy consumer, but he's blaming it on the energy industry. And he's not blaming it. He's just shifting the responsibility, saying, we're using a lot of energy. If we want this to keep going, you guys have to find ways to make it so that this is sustainable.
I mean, like, honestly, he's kind of sidestepping
the
costs, the environmental costs, and just saying make more. And it's so interesting because I went to an AI conference this year and last year. And last year, the vibe of the conference was like, wow, look at all this awesome stuff. The world is opening. We have new things happening. I'm so excited. The vibe this year was we need more power.
Yeah.
There was so many sessions on how we're going to do this, what the structure of this will look like. And one of the things, this one guy's talk was bananas because it was about the structure of data centers and how they're changing how they build them. This is a person who builds data centers because of AI. And he said that the amount of information humanity has processed since the beginning of like prehistory, like able to write stuff down to now, we will process that same amount of information. And I can't remember the amount. It was like in like petabytes or whatever. Something even bigger than that. That amount of information that we process, we will process it again in the next like 10 years or something.
Right. Yeah.
From the beginning of human history to now, we're going to do that all over again. We're going to double it in 10 years. That is, I can't conceive of what that could possibly be. These are numbers that are not in our psyche and impossible for us to really understand. And then what happens after 10 years? Do we double it again and again and again and again? And what are we doing? Are these all recipes? Are they generated photos of unicorns jumping over dandelions? Like, what is
they're
it
explanations. I'll tell you what it is. It's explanations of how to interpret knitting instructions. Yeah.
Well, I guess then AI is truly affecting the real world. If my sock, which is here, by the way.
We're about to see the sock.
Yeah, it's not yet a sock, but it will be a sock. But now I know how to make it.
There's the culprit.
This sock is responsible for a lot of carbon.
I think, as with many things, I think we have to be careful about properly assigning responsibility and continuing to hold companies accountable. I feel like capitalism as a whole was almost starting, it felt like they were about to start taking all this climate change stuff seriously. With things like net zero goals and everything, like Google had announced, like their plans for net zero carbon emissions, but then AI distracted everybody. Because speaking of Google, in 2024, Google failed to reach their net zero, the goals that they had for 2024 to get for that year to eventually reach net zero, and it was because of AI, and instead they increased their carbon output by 48%, and it was because of AI.
Oh,
so it's like they're like, we're gonna do this. We've got plans, and they were like, ooh, AI.
Well, there's like, as soon as the opportunity to make money is there, you're gonna throw that out the window. And it's not even the opportunity to make money. It's the opportunity to either be part of the future of tech or not. And Google, if you're like, would you like to be part of the future of tech? They'll be like, no, I don't want to make any more carbon go in the air. There's not like, can you even imagine a tech company doing that? That's like against the ethos of every tech company. Is there one out there? I would love to meet you, tech company who doesn't care as much about tech advancing
and so
as you do about the earth.
And so I guess to wrap things up, what I think needs to happen is this is the refrain you hear from me every time when we talk about these kinds of issues. We need government regulation to regulate the industries and regulate the technology use and creation and all of the regulation. We need to optimize the technology. I mean, these are algorithms. You can actually change the algorithms as best you can to be as energy efficient as possible, and that's been happening. That has been happening. We need to power these data centers with renewable energy sources. Again, that can be made to happen through regulation. If you're going to build a new data center, you need to figure out how you're going to use clean energy to power it. And then also, it's not nothing. Limit your use of AI in whatever way you can. Like I use AI a lot, so I'm not the kind of person who's going to tell you don't use it. But when you don't need to use it, maybe don't. If you turn off the Chrome extension or whatever it is that
get the extension,
that allows you to not use it for every Google search you do. We not but a couple years ago, we were doing all of our Google searches without AI summaries, and we were doing fine. That's not to say that it doesn't have a societal benefit, and that it doesn't help you in a lot of ways. I'm not saying that, and I'm not trying to blame users. I'm just saying like whatever way we can. If anything, it shifts these companies' perspective of how people want and do use it. So if we collectively can show like, no, we are willing to use less AI if we understand the impacts, then that changes the behavior of these companies, right? Like, so we can push them to behave better, but with our behavior. And so, but it takes collective use, right? Like, I don't want anybody to sit here and like they're trying to, write a new research grant to keep their lab going, and they're like, do I use AI to do this and help me, or do I spend the next 2 weeks doing nothing? Like there are good uses. It's okay. You're not destroying the world with your AI use, but
it's helped me with a few grants.
Yeah, I use that one as an example because that's like the perfect thing to use AI for. Right?
It is. It's not, it's not completely done by the AI, but I just, sometimes writing the word impact a 17th time makes you go a little crazy. So you just get ChatGPT to tweak it up for you.
Yeah. But anyway, that's where we are. AI and energy use. It's a very complicated, growing problem, and the landscape is changing all the time. And I thought it would be worth an update.
Thanks, Bobby.
You know what else is making today difficult? You can't really see it very well. I can show Maura. I don't know that I can show everybody else very well, but you still can't see it very well. I've been doing I'm starting my flying lessons again soon to get back into my instrument training, and I've been doing some simulator practice on the computer to get good at to get back into the procedures and everything. So I have my entire like simulator set up with like the yoke here and like the throttle
Nice.
quadrant over here, but it takes up like it's so cumbersome. The microphone's way up here. I'm typing on my keyboard that's like I don't know. It's making things challenging, but
Annoying.
Yeah.
I've been watching the chat
Mhm.
as you've been talking. You probably couldn't see much of it, and there's too much to like fully address because you guys have a lot of thoughts, and I think it just overall
surprising.
y'all.
I thought this would be a sleepy
I
topic.
feel just quiet, no opinions. I feel your anxiety. I resonate with it. There's a lot of that out
You know
there.
how we've talked before about climate anxiety? I feel like AI is just like climate anxiety with a new type of anxiety just slathered right on top of it, right? Like
yeah,
because of all the other like you talk about all the time, the cognitive impacts that AI is probably having on us, and we won't know for another 20 years.
I've kind of come to a bit of a zen place about it though, because maybe zen's the wrong word. This is the background noise of my life, and I don't think it's gonna change. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a silver bullet. I don't think something's gonna come and save us all from the climate crisis.
Yeah.
And not that we can't do anything. That's not what I mean. It's just this sort of hope that I sometimes had, like we'll figure out something that will work really well for everyone. I've released that. And that's, it's okay to let that thought go, because honestly I feel so much more at peace now. I can do what I can do, and the rest of it will just happen around me, kind of regardless of what I do.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, like and again, like there's sort of a tension there, because if you have a small group of people who want to change the world, that's one thing that can actually change the world, working hard on one thing. But the other side of it, you have to always be able to accept the world that you currently exist in.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to live in that tension point and enjoy the fact that I have clean water and usually clean air, and
do your best and forget about the rest. Yeah. That's what my daughter's teacher says all the time.
More or less.
To the kids.
I like it.
Do your best, forget about the rest.
Yeah, just show up.
Mm-hmm.
Show up. Okay, let's wrap this up.
All right, we gotta do that. Oh yeah, we have to do the ending of the show, then do the
outro. No, the wrap up.
Yeah, the wrap up. It's in the notes, Bobby, of what comes next.
Does that count as the wrap up? What I just said? I don't know.
No, I that's not the wrap up. Maybe it is. I don't know. No, let's think of something else.
Stoicism. Oh my gosh, Claire, that's exactly what I've just been learning about Stoicism the last few weeks. And I'm like, no, that I like that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to experience my emotions and allow them to I want to find ways to direct the anxiety, the anger, the frustration. Rather than, anyway, sorry, that just I derailed us even further from our wrap up.
All right, then it's your responsibility to come up with something for us to wrap up with. That's your punishment.
All right, my punishment. How dare you, Bobby? I had something anyway.
Okay.
Bobby, I really appreciated doing this live with you. This was really cool because, difficult topic. And we have a lot of folks on the scroll commenting, because we got to do this. We recorded this during the daytime in the Americas. So we got a few more people than normal, and we got some folks from across the pond. And it was really cool to see a few extra people. So I there was a lot of comments about AI, and stress and anxieties about it.
Yeah.
We hear ya. We feel ya. We'll keep talking about it.
That's
And now you know you can turn off the AI summary in Google.
Yeah. If nothing else, that's the take home I want you to have.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, let's take it home because we're here at the end of the episode of this one of the episodes of All Around Science. I think I was about to enter into it's like I'm so close.
You're in a loop.
It's like I'm so close, and then my brain like enters into some kind of like loop. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for listening. If you've got questions or feedback, you can email us at contact@allaroundscience.com.
We're on socials at All Around Sci or All Around Science.
My name's Bobby.
I'm Maura.
And we'll see you next week for some more science stuff.
True important opinion. Europeans. That's right. What do Europeans think? The Americas haven't had enough of that. We want more.
Yeah.
Colonize us. Okay. We are talking. What did I even talk about? Beta blockers.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like a week ago. What did I even say? I talked a lot.
You said that beta blockers might not be as useful as we thought.
Like that. As an Irish person, I did none colonizing. I hear you. I too am. Well, I'm not nationally Irish. But my grandparents left for that very reason.
All right, got it. Ready?
Ready.
On today's episode,
a common drug taken for heart conditions might not be as useful as we thought.
And how much energy does it take to get ChatGPT to help cook dinner tonight?
All that and more today on All Around Science. I'm glad you didn't do another knitting.
I thought about saying the knitting thing. I did think about that.
That would have made me laugh.
All right, done. Look, this might be the first episode we've recorded in a month that we didn't have to, like, that the audio didn't go out and we had to.
Yeah, what's up?
I really think it's what I was suspecting, that it's when I record on here, it's having some issue with, which means I need to solve, because this whole episode I was a little bit on edge because we weren't recording a backup. So,
I guess YouTube's the backup.
Yeah, YouTube's the backup today.
That's
so
nice. Might have to go back to Zencastr.
But I don't want to, so
I know you don't.
We'll figure something out.
We had a lively chat, and it was great.
Yes, it was.
You're building Legos. What are you building, Stephanie?
Click.
I'm just reading. Now I'm just catching up. Sorry, this is great live streaming.
Yeah. You should listen to us breathe.
Stephanie, if you have ChatGPT write a cover letter for you. I read a cover letter recently and I was like, from an applicant, I was like, this was not written by ChatGPT, and I very much appreciated it. So if you get it to write your cover letter, go through and make it a little less sanitized.
Yeah, it's good for writing. I've said this many times before. It's good. I'm a bad writer. I'm a good editor, but a bad writer. I feel like it's hard for me to get started. So ChatGPT helps me get started a lot. and then I just
It
go
is very helpful.
and
with
then I
that.
go back through and just change everything basically, but it gets me started. Like it gives me a structure, it gives me something to start with. All right.
Doing the Black Dahlia for Wednesday and a giant Eevee. Oh, that's fun.
Wednesday is a show that is on my list. I have not watched any of it, but I really want to.
Yeah, I watched the first like half the episode, first episode, and I was kind of like, it didn't grab me, so wasn't for me. But a lot of people love it. It's got a second season, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, so does Love Island. So. It's clearly meaning that a second season is
people like it. Okay,
people like it,
Love Island.
But I'm
Love
saying
Island,
that having a second season does not always mean it will work for me.
Fair. What, you didn't love season 1 of Love Island? Immediately watch the second one?
You know what? I should not judge because I haven't watched any of that show. Maybe I would love it.
Maybe. There is something to be said for trashy reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan in the late aughts and early teens. Is that what we're calling them? Of The Biggest Loser. And
did you see that? Do you have the Netflix documentary?
Yeah, I watched the Netflix documentary, and I was like, I kind of felt a little sheepish. I was like, I watched the crap out of that show.
Yeah.
And it would make me cry, and I was like so invested.
It's not your fault.
And,
they did it. That's how they made it. You know.
I mean, they're good. That's the whole thing. That's the whole basis of reality TV. But like that went for 16 odd seasons. That's crazy.
That's a lot. I haven't watched the documentary. I just know that it's out there. I was really into Big Brother in its first season when it first came out, and I was into Survivor for like the first 3 seasons, and then I couldn't be bothered anymore.
Well, they were like the first reality shows, right? Like not first, but the first big ones, and everybody was hooked. I watched the first season of Survivor too.
They were the first big like reality competitions, I would say, like.
Yeah, that's right.
Because there was like fair. Real World was like the first real big major syndicated reality TV, I would say, on MTV. You know. Yeah. But that wasn't a competition. It was just a reality TV.
Just like watching people's lives.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Narrative interpretations of people's lives.
Yeah, I'm watching Alien Earth as well, Logan. I think it's another episode comes out tomorrow, so I'm caught up on that. That's real good. That's real good.
Amazing. We finally finished Andor.
Was it? Remember I told you that one episode was like it was about to get.
Oh my god.
And it really did. That show, man.
It's wild. It's wild. Bennett asked me about what it was about, and I was like explaining it to him, and I was like, this is so hard to explain. Like to a 9-year-old.
Especially if you haven't seen all the movies and know them, right? Because the easiest way to explain it is, it's everything. It's how the rebellion gets made and what leads up to the Death Star being, you know.
Yeah, and he has seen the movies, and I did say that piece.
Okay.
But then he wanted to know a little more, and so I was like, oh my god! And then they like steal this money, but also then there's like they want to. This whole planet is in danger, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers too. Yeah. Anyway,
the first season is weird because it doesn't you at least for the first whole half of the first season, it feels like what is this doing? Where is it going?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
the big reveal. Yeah.
But like you eventually realize that they're putting all these pieces into place to help you understand how this guy becomes who he becomes. And this part of it is because of this, and this part is because of this, and they all fit together, you know. And
we watched Rogue One right after we finished it.
We did too.
And it's just so poignant. Like it has a different tone, and I liked that movie to start with, but like watching it now, it's like
it does have a different tone. But what's cool about watching Rogue One right after you watch all of Andor is you're like, it's very obvious that the people who are creating Andor absolutely were saying we are leading to that movie. Like,
yes, they were very deliberate. They clearly
this Rogue One
every thread they could.
Rogue One is the finale of this series that we're making.
Yeah.
Very much they had that in mind the whole time, because it doesn't feel like it was made long before the series when you watch it after.
No.
It's a different tone, like you said.
For sure. And he looks a little different, the main character.
Yeah.
I'm like, you look younger. Like, it's not a lot, but it's enough for me to be like, because it's 10 years ago. But Tweep, yes, I recommend watching season 1 again, because I was so lost for the first couple episodes of season 2.
The first couple episodes, after every episode, me and Stephanie had to go back and be like, should we read a summary here? And we had to read like a couple of articles about recaps about what happened in the episode and how they connected and stuff like that. So it is worth watching the first season over again. I agree. But if you're willing to do the work, then you don't have to. You can read, but you're gonna have to do the research because it's easy to get lost.
Yeah. It did make me hyper focused on like what was going on. I was like, wait, who's that? Wait, what's happening? And I kept asking my husband. He'd be like, I don't know either. I'd be like, but who is it? He'd be like, I also don't know. And sometimes he did know though. Sometimes.
But it's also one of those shows that's tough because sometimes you're not supposed to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so it's hard. That's what Stephanie will ask me, like, do you know what's going on? And I would say, no, but I think we're not supposed to know. So let's just so that's why we would wait until the end of the episode, and if we're still confused, then we would like look it up, like a recap of the episode, right? All right. Now I'm hungry though, and I have to go.
Yes. I gotta get going too. All right, folks. Thanks so much for coming out.
Yeah, thank you very much. I can finally close the 30 tabs I have open about AI and energy usage. This is a big moment for me.
Phew.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see you all next time later this month. Join us for that if you can.
Bye, folks.
Change this. Go like this. All right. Now.